Remember when Saturday morning TV could make high school look like the coolest place on earth? When teenagers solved every problem in 22 minutes, everyone looked like they stepped out of a catalog and the biggest crisis was running out of hair gel before the big dance? Well, welcome to Saved by the Bell, the show that premiered in 1989 and convinced an entire generation that being a teenager meant elaborate schemes, last-minute panic attacks over caffeine pills, and principals who doubled as life coaches. Zack Morris was the ultimate schemer. Kelly Kapowski was America's sweetheart. Screech was, well, Screech, and somehow Bayside High became the high school we all wished we could attend. Today, we're breaking down 15 weird facts about the show that made Saturday morning's appointment television and turned Time Out into a cultural phenomenon. Now, before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe because it really does help the channel. Now, let's get into it with number 15. Jesse's I'm So Excited breakdown was originally about speed. You know the scene that launched 1,000 memes. Jesse Spano clutching her caffeine pills like they're the last quarter at an arcade, shrieking, "I'm so excited, I'm so scared."
Everything will be okay.
Yeah.
I just need one of these.
Pills? You mean you really are taking drugs?
I need them.
Jesse, give me those.
I need them, Zack. I have to sing.
Jesse, you can't sing tonight.
Yes, I can. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
Jesse.
It's been parodied more times than Zack's Time Out superpower and done way better than me, and honestly, it deserves every single one. But here's the plot twist that would make even Zack Morris jealous. Jesse wasn't supposed to be hooked on no-dose. The original script had her addicted to speed. Yeah, actual amphetamines. You know, drugs that might actually justify a meltdown that dramatic. Can you even imagine? This was peak anti-drug era when even candy cigarettes were controversial and every after-school special treated marijuana like it was plutonium. But NBC took one look at that script and said, "Whoa there, Saturday morning special. We can't have teenagers doing real drugs. What's next, Screech dealing behind the gym?" So they sanitized it faster than Zack could scheme his way out of detention, turning it into television's most unintentionally hilarious PSA. Nothing kills your credibility faster than trying to make Red Bull look like the gateway to hell. Number 14, Zack Morris is trash. The Funny or Die legacy.
Would you like to go to the dance with me?
Sure, I'd love to go with you.
Would noon be too early to pick you up?
For decades, fans looked at Zack Morris as Saturday morning's answer to James Dean, the lovable rebel who always got the girl and somehow made stealing Screech's girl look cool. Remember the episode he literally dated Lisa? Insane. Then, the internet happened. Enter Funny or Die's Zack Morris is trash.
Zack Morris is trash.
A web series that re-examined every episode with the forensic precision of a true crime podcast and reached one inescapable conclusion. Zack wasn't charming. He was a manipulative sociopath in acid-wash jeans.
At least you guys have uniforms. We don't have anything to wear for field hockey.
Really? I'll have to check out your next game.
Every heroic rescue? Well, it was pretty much selfish damage control. What about all those schemes? Well, he was always willing to drag his friends into it or throw them under the bus. Sometimes both. Remember when he sold swimsuit calendar photos of Kelly, Jesse, and Lisa without thinking twice? Or how about that time that Jesse got hooked on caffeine pills like we just talked about? Zack ignored her the whole time until it blew up, and only then did he intervene. Oh, and let's not forget when he sabotaged Kelly's actual prom date just so he could swoop in instead. Yeah, turns out the coolest guy at Bayside was basically a teenage con artist with better hair and apparently parents with unlimited phone budgets.
The Zack Morris I know is not a quitter.
Yeah, she's right. Hey, don't let that jerk make you look like a total loser.
The series became so popular that its creator, Dashiell Driscoll, got hired to write for the 2020 Saved by the Bell reboot. And what did they do? They made Zack the governor of California because apparently being a sociopathic teenager is perfect training for a life where you always get exactly what you want, which honestly sounds about right for Zack Morris. The internet literally rewrote sitcom history, and for once, we didn't mind. Turns out we'd been rooting for the villain all along, which honestly explains a lot about the 90s. Number 13, Zack's cell phone cost more than most people's car.
Flush the toilet.
It's ringing. Ready with the buckets. Hello, Mr. Tisselberty? Well, this is Mr. Bowling. What?
You remember that gray brick that Zack carried around, it wasn't just a running gag about primitive technology, it was basically a Lamborghini that he could fit in his backpack. The Motorola Dynatac cost nearly $4,000 in 1990s money, which is about the same as flashing around 3 brand new MacBook Pros every day at lunch just for kicks.
Yes, hello. I'd like to order a large pizza with mushrooms, anchovies, and the hottest peppers you can find.
Think about that for a second. Zack Morris, a high school student whose biggest worry was whether Kelly would notice his new hair gel, was casually carrying around tech that cost more than Mr. Belding's annual salary. Okay, maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but either Mr. Morris was secretly running some kind of operation or the show's prop department had no concept of teenage economics. For Gen Xers, it represented the ultimate fantasy. Technology as power, the future right in your pocket, if your trust fund was big enough to afford it.
Hello, Palisades Florist? Yes, I'd like to order 2 dozen roses. One goes to Mr. Belding in care of Bayside High School.
For millennials watching reruns in the 2000s, it became hilarious proof of how far we'd come. That brick couldn't even play Snake, and now we're disappointed when our phones don't have 17 cameras. The best part is that Zack used this $4,000 miracle of modern technology primarily to order pizza and schedule dates with multiple girls at the same time. Truly a pioneer of multitasking and emotional terrorism. Number 12, the very special episodes were accidentally hilarious. Nothing defined early 90s television quite like the very special episode, and Saved by the Bell, they delivered some of the most unintentionally cringe-worthy moral lessons ever broadcast to children eating sugary cereal. Take Teen Line.
Sure, what's on the jukebox?
Well, they change it every week. Let's go see. So, do you like Motown?
I love it.
Or... Whoa, you're in a wheelchair.
Where Zack meets Melissa, played by Jennifer Blanc, a girl in a wheelchair, and proceeds to treat her like she's made of glass and pity until she rightfully calls him out for being a condescending jerk.
Even though she's handicapped, she gave Kathy perfect advice.
The moral is disabled people are regular humans. The delivery was 20 minutes of secondhand embarrassment that made after-school specials look subtle. Or, what about Date Auction?
I bid $75.
Wow, $75? Going once? Going twice?
$100.
$100? Going once? Going twice? Zack Morris, you are promised to Wendy Park.
Where Zack tries to weasel out of a date with Wendy, played by Judy Carmen, a classmate that the writers reduced to a weight-based punchline until he learns that fat shaming is wrong lesson.
No, Wendy.
Because I don't look like Lydia or Kelly or Elle McPherson. I've heard the I'm sick excuses before, but I thought you were different. I'll have more fun going to the dance by myself. At least I'll be with someone who's honest.
Then there's Wendy conveniently disappearing from the show forever because apparently the lesson only needed to last 1 episode. Classic 90s problem solving. But the crown jewel has to be no hope with dope.
Dumb.
Stupid.
Crazy. Dangerous.
Stinks. In one word, would I use dope? Nope.
The episode where teen heartthrob Johnny Dakota, played by Eddie Garcia, comes to Bayside to film an anti-drug PSA, only for the gang to catch him smoking marijuana at a party. Their solution? Instead of calling authorities or, actual adults, they ghost him and make their own commercial featuring NBC president Brandon Tartikoff, because nothing says we're serious about drugs like corporate synergy.
And I've got a hit idea for the new fall season. Don't do drugs.
There's no hope with dope.
For Gen Xers, these episodes were awkward interruptions to the usual fun. 22 minutes of being lectured to by characters who went right back to their normal behavior the next week. For millennials who were watching the reruns, they're pure cringe gold that perfectly captures how out of touch adult writers were when trying to address teen issues. The best part? These episodes treated problems like they could be solved with a single conversation and a group hug, which explains a lot about why 90s kids grew up thinking real problems should be that easy to fix. Spoiler alert, they're not. Number 11, the cast had more drama than a daytime soap. Now, on screen, Bayside High was all innocent pecks on the cheek and holding hands by the lockers, but off screen, it was basically Melrose Place with better SAT scores and worse supervision. Mark-Paul Gosselaar has been refreshingly honest about what he calls the cast's incestuous dating history. He dated Lark Voorhies, then Tiffani Thiessen, then Elizabeth Berkley. I mean, at this point, Mark was basically playing romantic musical chairs with his co-stars, because apparently Bayside's dating pool was smaller than its budget.
Linda. What a beautiful name.
It is, but mine is Lydia.
Lydia. Oh, it's so much nicer than Linda.
And he wasn't the only one playing romantic musical chairs. The behind-the-scenes hookups got so messy that producers had to step in and play relationship counselor, because apparently managing teenage hormones wasn't in their job description when they signed up to make a Saturday morning sitcom.
Kelly, do you realize we've been going steady for 68 days, 14 hours and 37 minutes?
38 minutes, Zach. But then again, who's counting?
Sometimes that on-screen chemistry you swooned over wasn't even acting. Those lingering glances between Zach and Kelly, the spark between Zach and Lisa, that might have been actual unresolved romantic tension, which explains why some of those scenes felt more genuine than anything else in the show, and also why the reunion episodes were probably awkward as hell to film. For fans, it's like discovering your favorite boy band was secretly hooking up backstage. Equal parts fascinating and slightly disturbing, especially when you realize these were actual teenagers navigating first relationships under the scrutiny of television cameras and mall appearances. Number 10, Bayside High was Hollywood's most recycled set.
Hi, Zach.
Think those iconic Bayside hallways were sacred ground? Well, sorry to shatter your Saturday morning dreams, but they were basically the TV equivalent of a rental car. Used by everyone, cleaned up between owners, and definitely not as special as you thought. The same classrooms, lockers, and cafeteria that housed Zack's schemes later got recycled faster than a Disney Channel original movie set. Studios saved money by slapping on fresh paint and rearranging the lockers like they were playing the world's most expensive game of Tetris. The hallways popped up in Saved by the Bell, the new class of course, and other NBC Disney teen shows like That's So Raven and iCarly. It was basically a Where's Waldo of teenage dysfunction. Honestly, it's kind of hilarious and explains why every teen sitcom looked vaguely familiar. For fans who thought Bayside was a unique wonderland, it's a harsh reminder that Hollywood magic is mostly just good lighting and creative accounting. Next time you see a random teen sitcom, see if you spot those familiar hallways yourself. Number 9, the casting what-ifs that would have broken reality. Alright, buckle up because we're about to enter the multiverse of Bayside madness for a second. Now, before Steve Urkel made suspenders cool and "Did I do that?" a national catchphrase, Jaleel White actually appeared in the original Good Morning Miss Bliss pilot. He was cast as a student in Miss Bliss's classroom, potentially setting up a completely different nerdy sidekick dynamic with Zach and Screech.
I was just saying to myself, Zach, you don't spend enough time with your old buddy Screech. Buddy? You said that?
NBC didn't keep him for the retool, but karma worked out. He landed on Family Matters and became a cultural icon while Saved by the Bell moved forward with its own brand of Saturday morning chaos. And here's the jaw dropper. Angelina Jolie was reportedly on NBC's shortlist to play Kelly Kapowski. Let that sink in. Instead of Bayside's sweet, bubbly cheerleader, we could have had a future Oscar winner bringing her trademark intensity to pep rallies and school dances. Picture Jolie delivering Kelly's innocent, "Oh, Zach," lines with that smoldering stare that would later captivate Hollywood. The show's entire romantic dynamic would have been completely different.
What do you think? Make a cute couple, don't we?
Less teen sitcom and more teenage film noir. Imagine that alternate timeline though. Jolie making Homecoming Queen look like a power play and Urkel as Screech's rival for biggest scene stealer. Oh, and Saturday morning TV taking a much more dramatic turn. That is a legendary butterfly effect. Number 8, the theme song surprising Golden Girls connection. That impossibly upbeat theme song that made Saturday mornings feel like pure teenage bliss. It was composed by Scott Gale, the same musical mastermind behind Thank You for Being a Friend, aka the Golden Girls theme song.
Thank you for being a friend.
Think about that creative whiplash for a second. One day, Gale's writing about cheesecake and late-night heart-to-hearts between elderly roommates. The next, he's crafting pure adolescent optimism in musical form. Gale had a gift for capturing the cheesy optimism of late 80s television. That magical era when every show's theme song sounded like it was trying to sell you a lifestyle along with the entertainment. The Saved by the Bell theme perfectly embodied that everything's gonna be awesome energy that defined Saturday morning TV. Complete with triumphant horn sections that made going to high school sound like the best thing that could ever happen to you. It's the kind of theme song that convinced an entire generation that high school would be wall-to-wall fun, populated by attractive people who solved their problems in exactly 22 minutes minus the commercials. I mean, no wonder high school felt like such a letdown. We were all expecting our teenage years to come with that kind of soundtrack. For Gen Xers, it was the sound of Saturday morning freedom. For millennials watching reruns, it became the nostalgic soundtrack to a simpler time when the biggest problem in your life was whether Zack would get caught in his latest scheme. Spoiler alert, he never did, but it's alright, because I'm saved by the bell. Alright, now quick reality check. If you had to choose one Bayside character to be stuck in detention with, who would it be? Mine is AC Slater. Drop your answer in the comments, and while you're down there, smash that like button and subscribe because we've got more nostalgic deep dives coming your way faster than Zack can say timeout. Now, back to the Bayside madness with number 7, Malibu Sands was actually Beverly Hills adjacent.
You bring it back nice and smooth, smooth.
Okay, that's smooth enough.
Hey, wanna join us?
No, but won't you join me?
Practice. Girls, practice.
The Malibu Sands summer episodes were peak Saved by the Bell fantasy, ditching Bayside's recycled hallways for sun, sand, random addition of Leah Remini and Zack Morris trying to look cool in beach shorts that probably cost more than Screech's entire wardrobe.
What is it with you California guys? Too much sun bleaches the brain? Let me make it clear. I catch you goofing off with the girls one more time, and you're out of here.
But here's the twist that ties together two of the 90s biggest teen obsessions. Those beachfront paradise scenes were shot at the exact same locations as Beverly Hills 90210. The Palisades Beach Club in Santa Monica doubled as both Malibu Sands and the West Beverly gang's hangout spot. Maybe that's why Kelly and Violet were able to hop into Valerie and Donna seamlessly. For a brief, shining moment in television history, Zack Morris and Brandon Walsh were basically sharing the same beach chair. Two different shows, same overpriced club membership, probably the same craft services table too, and definitely the same we're teenagers but look 25 energy.
Aloha, dudes. Meet Cynthia. She's the chick I rescued this afternoon.
It's just too bad it took all summer for you guys to get together.
It's the kind of crossover event that could have broken the internet if the internet had existed yet. Instead, we devoured both shows, wondering if we were experiencing deja vu, not realizing our Saturday morning beach fantasy and after-school melodrama were literally in the same place. The only thing missing was Kelly Taylor telling Kelly Kapowski about her latest romantic crisis, while Brandon and Zack compared notes on being self-righteous pretty boys. Television history was robbed of that moment and probably saved from it too. Number 6, Jesse Spano was a last-minute invention.
Buenos nachos.
Not so fast, Miss Tortilla.
This is Jessica Spano for Spano Speaks. There were a lot of snorts and grunts heard at Bayside yesterday, and they weren't just from the sweaty red-faced wrestlers.
Before there was Jesse Spano lecturing everyone about feminism and environmental responsibility between geometry classes, there was supposed to be nobody. Elizabeth Berkley auditioned for Kelly Kapowski, didn't get it, and most shows would have sent her a polite rejection letter and moved on. After all, this was 1989 when thanks for playing actually meant goodbye. But someone in the Saved by the Bell writers' room had a moment of actual inspiration. Instead of letting Berkley go, they invented an entirely new character just for her. Enter Jesse Spano, Bayside's resident overachiever, activist, and future cautionary tale about the dangers of premium coffee.
And when I got stage fright, you whispered my lines in my ear?
Don't raise your tail, dear. Tony the Badgers.
That one casting decision completely changed the show's DNA. Without Jesse, Saved by the Bell would have been pure fluff. Just schemes, dances, and the occasional romantic triangle, basically every other teen sitcom from the era. With her, it became the show that tried to tackle serious issues like oil spills, gender equality, and the apparently life-threatening effects of staying awake to study. She was part of the reason the show could pivot from Zack's latest get-rich-quick scheme to a very special episode about why you shouldn't judge people based on their disabilities, and somehow make both feel like they belonged in the same universe, even though they absolutely didn't. For Gen Xers, Jessie represented the show's attempts to be more than just Saturday morning cotton candy. For millennials watching reruns, she's the reason those episodes had slightly more substance than your average teen sitcom and significantly more unintentional comedy. Without Elizabeth Berkley's failed Kelly audition, there would be no "I'm so excited, I'm so scared," and honestly, the world would be a much less memeable place. Number 5, Good Morning Miss Bliss, the Indiana prequel that nobody remembers. Before Zack Morris was California's coolest schemer, he was, well, still a schemer, just in Indiana in middle school with a teacher named Miss Bliss who actually tried to educate him. Good Morning Miss Bliss was Saved by the Bell's weird origin story that most fans have completely erased from their memory banks. The show had Hayley Mills, yes, the Disney legend from The Parent Trap, trying to wrangle Zack, Screech, and Lisa, and almost Urkel, in an Indiana middle school classroom. Then NBC looked at their ratings, looked at their budget, and said, you know what? Let's just pretend that none of this happened and start over in California.
Now, I saw your parents last night. I'm glad you told them the truth.
Can you believe it, Miss Bliss? They just want me to be me.
I knew they'd react that way.
And get this, my dad told me he was Blue Monitor too. That's how he got stuck on my mom.
So they put the kids in high school, moved them across the country, kept Mr. Belding, and acted like the Indiana years with Miss Bliss were just a bad dream. No explanation, no moving van, no, hey, remember when we lived in the Midwest? Just a hard reboot that would make Marvel jealous, and way less confusing than anything involving the time travel nonsense they have going on. Anyway, for 80s kids, it's a reminder of how networks operated in the pre-internet age. They figured you'd just roll with it and keep watching, and honestly, we did. The only consistency between both versions is Zack Morris finding new ways to avoid consequences, proving that some things transcend geography, age, and basic logic. And apparently good parenting too. Number 4, 2 characters were originally very different. Now here's a casting plot that completely changed Bayside's DNA. AC Slater was originally written as an Italian street kid.
Sir, I need your opinion. I was wondering, what do you think of this?
It's all right, I guess. Is it for your girlfriend?
Well, no, sir, it's for me. I'd like to wear it to school tomorrow.
And Lisa Turtle was supposed to be a Jewish girl from Long Island.
Does anyone know the sound that the male frog makes to attract the female? No, that's the little boy porcupine getting too close to his mate.
But when Mario Lopez and Lark Voorhies walked into auditions, producers took one look and said, you know what? Let's rewrite these characters entirely. According to producer Peter Engel in his book I Was Saved by the Bell, the original character descriptions went straight out the window when they found actors who brought something completely different to the table. Lopez's natural charisma turned the Italian tough guy into a Latino jock, because apparently the writers had never seen a Hispanic athlete before 1989, and Voorhies transformed the neurotic Jewish princess into a fashion-forward black teenager with actual personality and was also a princess. This wasn't just recasting though. This was accidentally progressive television. For 80s kids watching Saturday mornings, Slater and Lisa provided diversity that was basically non-existent in most teen programming. While other shows were still figuring out how to write characters who weren't white suburban stereotypes, Saved by the Bell stumbled into representation that actually mattered. The best part was both actors made their rewritten characters iconic. Lopez turned Slater into the kind of jock who can be tough and sweet, and Voorhies made Lisa the fashion queen who is too cool to care about anyone's drama, especially Screech's. They took throwaway character concepts and turned them into Saturday morning legends. Sometimes the best creative decisions happen by accident, and sometimes those accidents give you greatness your show never knew it needed. Number 3, everything about Zack Morris was a lie. Alright, ready for the double betrayal that redefines everything you thought you knew about Zack Morris? Well, buckle up, because this one's a two-parter that'll make you question your entire adolescence.
Kelly, every summer while the other kids were playing baseball, I was at dance camp.
Wow, I can't wait.
Why did I say that?
Let's start with Revelation 1. That effortlessly cool I run this school vibe wasn't acting. It was anthropological research. Mark-Paul Gosselaar has admitted that Zack was based on real classmates he envied in his own high school. He studied their swagger, mannerisms, and their I'm too cool to care but somehow always get what I want energy, and basically built a character out of every popular guy who ever made him feel like a loser. So when Zack felt authentically annoying, well, it's because he was a scientifically accurate composite of actual popular kids. The reason you probably knew a Zack Morris in real life is because there actually were Zack Morrises in real life, and Gosselaar was just the nerd who took notes, and got revenge by making bank playing one on TV. But here's the kicker. That perfect California surfer boy look was completely manufactured. To start with, Gosselaar's natural hair is brown. He's of mixed Indonesian and Dutch-German heritage, and NBC demanded constant bleaching to give him that all-American golden boy appearance. The constant dye jobs not only damaged his hair, but they basically whitewashed his actual identity for the sake of fitting into the network's idea of what a teen heartthrob should look like. So, the Zack Morris you fell in love with, or love to hate depending on who you are, was a fake persona based on real jerks with fake hair played by an actor who was probably way cooler and kinder than the character he was pretending to be. Number 2, the cast got screwed out of syndication money. Here's the financial gut punch that makes every Saved by the Bell rerun feel like a crime in progress. This show has been syndicated, streamed, and marathoned for over 3 decades, generating mountains of cash for NBC and everyone except the people who actually made it watchable. According to producer Peter Engel and various cast interviews over the years, the contracts they signed as teenagers were, in industry terms, really, really bad. Translation: while Saved by the Bell became a syndication goldmine, the original cast saw almost nothing from it, because apparently networks had plenty of practice screwing over young actors. Compare this to modern sitcoms where stars make syndication millions for decades, and it's clear the Bayside gang got screwed. The real irony is that a show about a teenage con artist ended up being one of the biggest cons in television history, just with the network as the real Zack Morris anyway.
Sorry I'm late. I was in the library reading up on Tolstoy. Or Tolstoy, as it is often pronounced in Eastern Europe.
What's with Lisa?
Hey, the nail polish fumes must have gone to her head.
For a generation that grew up watching these characters every day after school, it's a harsh reminder that Hollywood accounting makes Enron look honest. The kids who taught us about friendship and loyalty got the corporate equivalent of stuffed in a locker and given wedgies by their own network. Number 1, the Tori episodes, television's greatest disappearing act. And now, the crown jewel of Saved by the Bell insanity, the continuity disaster that still keeps fans awake at night, the infamous Tori episodes. Imagine you're a network executive and 2 of your main characters, Kelly and Jesse, had moved on when you decide to order more episodes. Do you write them out with a proper explanation? Do you have them transfer schools, move away, or graduate early? Nah. You just swap in a completely different character, act like Kelly and Jesse never existed, and hope nobody notices, because this was 1993 after all, when viewers couldn't pause, rewind, or immediately tweet their confusion.
Excuse me, but I think you've made a big mistake.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You parked your bike in my parking space.
Was your name on it?
Enter Leanna Creel as Tori Scott, the leather jacket wearing tough girl who became Zack's new love interest while Kelly was apparently transported to an alternate dimension. For several episodes, it was like watching Bayside through a funhouse mirror. Everything looked familiar, but something was fundamentally wrong. It's like when your favorite restaurant changes the recipe and pretends like nothing ever happened. And it wasn't like Tori was just background decoration, she got major storylines that should have mattered. She helped organize the Teen Line Crisis Hotline, showing her compassionate side. She had a whole episode where she traded her leather jacket for dresses and makeup to get Zack's attention, proving she could be just as boy crazy as Kelly. The writers gave her real character development and meaningful relationships with the gang. Then came Graduation Day, and in a twist that would make M. Night Shyamalan jealous, Kelly and Jesse magically reappeared in caps and gowns while Tori vanished like she'd been snapped out of existence by Thanos. No explanation, no mention, just boom, back to the original timeline like some kind of Saturday morning Twilight Zone. But here's where it gets truly insane. Reruns aired the episodes out of order, creating the illusion of parallel Bayside universes where Kelly existed and didn't exist simultaneously. Fans watching syndication were basically experiencing quantum physics through Saturday morning television and probably thought they were losing their minds. The Tori episodes remain a testament to the fact that sometimes the weirdest thing about nostalgia is trying to figure out what actually happened versus what you imagined happened versus what the network wanted you to think happened. And there you have it. 15 weird facts about the show that convinced a generation that high school was just elaborate schemes interrupted by the occasional dance. Which surprised you the most? Drop your most shocking revelation in the comment section below. Be sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more nostalgic deep dives into the shows that shaped our childhoods. Until next time, this is Remember When.